Let's talk about programming today. It's tricky when you think what exercise should always be in my training program, and if you're gonna ask a strength and conditioning coach, they're probably gonna give you the same answer. It depends. I want to start by saying that there is no one single exercise that is an absolute necessity, but in order to stay injury free and move really well, you need to incorporate the fundamental movement patterns within your training plan. So what are the fundamental movement patterns? Squat, hinge, carry, lunge, push, horizontal and vertical, pull, horizontal and vertical. Training through the fundamental movement patterns is the best way to increase your strength, build muscle mass, reduce the risk of injury, and they also serve as a baseline for learning more complex movements down the line. The advantage of learning how to move through these patterns correctly means that you can work the muscles through their full range of motion. It also means that you can expose and correct any stability or flexibility issues. Let's give the squat as an example. If you have an ankle flexibility restriction, when descending into the squat, you're gonna find that your hip is gonna tip very far back because your knees can't drive forward. Equally, if you have a hip flexibility restriction, you're gonna find that your knees are gonna go too far forward over your toes because you don't have the ability to sit back into the squat. Now, if your glute muscles aren't strong enough to provide stability, you're gonna find that when you descend or ascend from the squat, your knees are gonna cave in. So what exercises should you choose when you move through these patterns? That's a good question. It depends. I'll give the squat pattern as an example again. But remember, the point is to choose the right exercise to move through these fundamental movement patterns with that's right for you and your goal. So, if you want to build max levels of strength in your legs or build muscle mass, then a back barbell squat would be your best friend. If you're a beginner and have a lack of flexibility or experience in performing the squat movement, then a goblet squat might be the best option for you. If you have a knee injury, then maybe you would want to work with the box squat. This is because it's a hip dominant movement. And if you have a back injury, then maybe you choose to do a heel elevated squat so you can keep your trunk more upright. This would place less stress on the back. So how do you program these during the week? You don't have to train all of the patterns in one single day. You can do a split and focus just on a couple of them in one training session, depending on what you're trying to achieve. Mainly, you don't want to train the same movement pattern day in and day out. This way, you leave enough time for recovery in between sessions, which is gonna help you get stronger. All right, guys. I hope this was helpful and you're gonna implement these fundamental movement patterns in your own training session. I'll see you next time. Okay,